everybody. Today we are doing a mishmash of products. I am including a whole bunch of new things. We've got Refy, we've got Chanel, we've got Victoria Beckham, we have Charlotte Tilbury. We're mixing it all up today. And what I'm doing, and when I was trying to figure out like what I wanted to do today, was to see if the products that I have recently picked up are products that are gimmicky in what they're selling, or if they actually deliver what they say they're going to. And I think that's the core of like trying to decide what to buy these days. Because let's face it, quality continues to go down across the board, fashion, beauty, prices continue to go up. Luxury has been redefined and continues to be. It is difficult to figure out what is actually worth spending money on because the former systems are changing, which, you know, everything changes, but you can't just do oh, it's a Chanel bag, it's going to be well made anymore. You can't make those assumptions. And that is sad in my opinion, but it also, I guess, gives other brands an opportunity to step up and create products that we can actually rely on. So in that vein, I'm going to tell you what I have on my face today. We're going to talk about the products. I'm going to tell you whether or not I think they are true to their nature, how they're described. And then if they're better or worse than I think they are currently being touted, some of these things become, you know, like hot brands or hot products or whatever. And for really, I'm not quite sure what reason. And then other things just, you know, don't get a lot of attention and are excellent. So let's start with the first thing on my face. So the first thing on my face today is this Sarah Creal. Now, I happen to love Sarah Creal. I've bought her lipsticks. I have a bunch of products by her. And I actually think her products are excellent for a more mature person. Now, I think they're excellent for anyone, but they were originally created, the idea is, you know, there's a whole segment of people out there that are kind of ignored. Pretty much anyone over the age of 40, although I would say over 35. But anyway, she says, founded by the visionary product developer Sarah Creal, we create scientifically advanced luxury beauty essentials for babes 40 plus. And so that's the idea of the brand. But this could work, all of her products can work for anyone. This is it's basically, I want to be very careful how I say this because it's not basically anything. It's an essence. It says it's a bi-phase brightening essence. And when you say bi-phase, basically it means you have to shake it up, okay? So you have to, because the oil and waters sort of mix together. And in this product, there are peptides, which lift and firm. There are niacinamide, which is basically vitamin B, which brightens and reduces lines and wrinkles, hyaluronic acid, which hydrates, and squalene, which is a moisturizer. The thing that I would tell you about this product, the number one ingredient is water. It has a leaping bunny on it, so the squalene is not from animals, and so it's vegan. And it is one of the best oils that I have seen as a brightening essence oils. So this is going to be similar to the Guerlain oil, but the Guerlain oil is much heavier. This is very, very light because it's water basically. I mean, it's not water, but it feels like water when you put it on your face. You only need a few drops. I put too many drops on the first time I used it. So don't use a ton unless your skin is very, very dry. This is a great price point for what it is. It definitely brightens the skin. It sinks in pretty quickly because it's very lightweight. It doesn't feel like anything's on your skin. And it is going to do all the things that it says it does. It does lift, visibly lift. I don't know if it actually is lifting your skin, but it looks like it's lifted. Niacinamides and peptides and hyaluronic acid and squalene have been proven, scientifically proven, to do all the things that they say they're going to do. You have to use more of it than you might think for a longer period of time. If you use it for one day, that's probably not going to work. You have to use these things consistently, but they will improve your skin. The thing is to try to figure out what works best for you in combination. Always talk to a dermatologist as well, but I find that if I use a product like this Sarah Creal, or in the winter months, the Guerlain Watery Oil or the Merit, all of those, they all work really well. It's a question of what works best for your skin. And my opinion is that the Sarah Creal will work for practically anyone unless you're really, really oily. And the Guerlain is heavier. I really like the Guerlain Watery Oil, the new one. But again, my skin is very dry, and it's very dry here in New England. So, you know, we'll keep all that in mind. Overall, though, this is a great product. I really do recommend it. I think a lot of people are going to love it. I don't hear anyone talk about it. So, you know, take a look at it and see what you think, because I really do think it's excellent. Next, the Refy products. I was sent these. They're excellent. They're really excellent. And the quality that's in these are luxury quality. The packaging is not. The packaging is plastic. It's, you know, and it's gray. But I'll tell you right now, for me, at my age especially, I would rather pay for the excellent product. I like packaging. I love packaging. But I need to figure out where I want to spend my money. And there's a lot of things actually that I would love to buy, but there's a Chanel purse that I've wanted forever, which I can't really afford. There's a trip that I'm going to be doing for May. Stay tuned. We always do a big trip for my birthday month in May. And so if it turns out that this product, which is a cream, bronzer, contour, whatever you want to call it, is as good or better than any other cream bronzer I've tried, and it's much less expensive, and all I have to deal with is some gray plastic, I'm gonna go with this. I mean, honestly, because who am I trying to impress? Like, I want to look my best. This is excellent. This is an excellent, excellent product, and it does sink in really well. I have it in Dune, which is the lightest shade, and you can see that because I don't have any other bronzer on my face today. So you definitely need a deeper shade if you're have a deeper skin tone than me. This is Topaz. This is the highlighter. It's a very subtle highlighter, but I will say this. This one is more emollient, so if you have oily skin, you're probably not going to like this one. I like it, again, dry skin, but it does set down if you put powder over it, which we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, it does look really quite beautiful on. I have the Camelia Futura Chanel. This, I just used the warm shades that were in here, and I used them very lightly with Wayne Goss brush from his new collection. Those brushes are excellent, by the way. They're a combination of squirrel and mix of either synthetics or goat, and they do exactly what they say they're going to do. They're really worth picking up if you're interested in those brushes. The blush can be used in multiple ways. You can really tone this down, or you can build it up. I'm not somebody who likes a lot of blush, so I went in very lightly. It's really good. It's a really good blush. I don't generally like the try thing, but this one works, and the formula is excellent, and it doesn't accentuate anything. And honestly, I'm just gonna put a little bit more on so you can see. I haven't really liked a blush from Chanel as much as this one in quite some time. Like, it doesn't have the scent, which I know will make some people happy because a lot of people don't like a scent. I loved the old scent, but I get it. So it doesn't have the scent, but other than that, it's a beautiful blush. It works, to tell you. I did include information on the LeBlanc Camelia Futura whole situation in my last video, which was the one with Victoria Beckham, which I will talk about in just a second. So if you're interested in learning more about the Chanel news and more news about what's being discontinued, I'll make sure that video is up above. Check it out. I have timestamps so you can see where the Chanel news is, because Chanel is doing lots of stuff. So yeah, they're all doing exactly what they're supposed to do. The Chanel blush is doing everything it's supposed to do and more. Like, I feel like they didn't really hype up this collection. Maybe it's because it's not really launching until March technically, but whatever's in this powder, however they did this one is excellent. And I really feel like it may be a turning point for Chanel, fingers crossed, to create a collection that's not only beautiful, but actually works. So yeah, that is really beyond impressive. The Refy goes far beyond what you would expect from it looking at it. And like I said, I can see why it's very popular in Sephora. Like I've seen people buying it for a very long time, and I never really paid it any attention because of what it looked like in the packaging. And it is far better than it looks. Far, far better. All right, so let's get to the eyes. So today I have on a mishmash, literally, of 3 different products, and I'll show you putting them on. The first is the Vert Titanium. This is the Stylo pencil by Chanel. And I made the comment, this is part of the Futura Camelia collection, that these aren't my favorite. I think, I don't use them. Yeah, again, be careful what you say, because I was wrong. These are excellent. I use this as all over the lid, and it looked beautiful. And I shared it out before I put the other shadows on top. But yeah, it's just stunning. It's a great one and done. All of them are. Pick up the shades that you like, but it's really good. And so I put that on as a wash of color first because I wanted to lighten the look that I was gonna do. And the reason I wanted to lighten it is because I'm using the Victoria Beckham. In the video that I did with Victoria Beckham eyeshadows, I talked about the olive one and the Victoria one, which are both beautiful, and they do exactly what they say they're gonna do. They are smoky eyes. But there's really no, and I use the word lightness, in the palettes. There's nothing to lighten up the look. It's a heavy look. And, I think that's kind of anti-trend at the moment. Not that you should just pay attention to trends, but I just think more people are going towards a lighter eye look. So I don't know how these will be received, but the formula in them is really quite beautiful. And I think they are excellent for what they are. They are, $75 for the entire thing, and then you can get the refill for $50. And you can see me putting on the 2 shades. I put on the very sparkly shade over here all over the lid, and the deeper olive kind of shade in the crease. And the thing is about this formula, it is very creamy, it's very silky, it is very pigmented, and like a heavy, gorgeous color. But, again, here's my but. If I were somebody who didn't wear a very smoky look all the time, and I didn't want the luxurious packaging, and this is definitely luxurious, it's heavy, like it's a really heavy piece. It's small, but it's weighty, and it's beautifully done with the, the front cover and the gold and the pop-up, like it's nice, and it's refillable, and there's a mirror, all of that. I would buy the Charlotte Tilbury olive, because I took this shade from the Charlotte Tilbury and this shade on the inner corner and put that on top, and I can tell you guys, I get a stunningly beautiful look that maybe isn't quite as deep as, I don't want to use the word heavy because it makes it sound like I'm saying something bad, but like it doesn't have as much depth to it as the Victoria Beckham, but honestly, anybody who's looking for that impactful look with like shimmer, you can get it from the Charlotte Tilburys. You'd have to build it up a little bit more, but you could do it. And you can also get a much lighter everyday look from this. And it's $60. The difference being that the Victoria Beckham is definitely for somebody who is looking for that more smoky look. It's got a mirror, it's got luxury packaging, it's got, a heaviness and a beautifulness to the packaging that this does not have. It has Victoria Beckham's name on it. All those things that might be more important to you. But there are 4 shades in here, there are 9 in here. If you're looking for a green, olive green, there's some lighter colors in the Charlotte Tilbury, but look, and money is a consideration. Personally, yeah, I'd pick the Charlotte Tilbury. Pulling in something like the Tom Ford Olive Smoke, I love the Tom Ford Olive Smoke. I think it's beautiful on the eye, but that one, again, is in the, Victoria Beckham, it's even more expensive. So I have to, you know, you have to balance priorities. Like what will you actually use? What's most important to you? Do you want to go on a trip in May and enjoy yourself? You know, and the $60 palette, this is not compromising on quality. It's compromising on packaging, and it may be compromising on like the depth of color, but I don't think you can argue that this top layer from, you know, Charlotte Tilbury looks impactful and stunning, because it does. So I think it would be hard to argue that it's not going to give you what you want. Now, the Chanel liner, this is in Vert Lagoon, which came out the last collection from Chanel. These are the waterproof liners. This particular liner, the Chanel waterproof liner, these are my favorite of all time. I have used these for 30 years and I stand by them. I know some people don't like them. I'm not exactly sure why, but if they don't work for you, they don't work for you. For me, I put these on, they don't go anywhere all day. I never have to worry about it transferring. There's never a problem. They're perfect. Just for me. That may not be true for other people. Could be because my skin is dry. But I will buy the $50 liner. And if I have to decide between the Victoria Beckham and the Charlotte Tilbury to make up the difference, I will buy the Charlotte Tilbury. That's what I'm trying to get across in my rambling message there. Lips. This is the Hourglass Phantom. And I really like this. I think it's a really good product. I don't like it as much as the Chanel. But I do think there's a pearlescence here that's very pretty. I don't like the fact that it has to be clicked up and you can't click it back down, because if you click up too much, then it's, you know, yucky and it gets all over the place. So I don't like that. I don't think it has the iridescence that the Chanel does, but it doesn't say it does. Like, it says pearlescent. The Chanels are iridescent. There is a difference. I think this is very pretty though, but I think the Chanel flashes, the Rosa and the Peachy, I think they're very unique. They don't look like much in the tube. I get that, but on the lips, they do make a huge difference. So personally, I don't think that this is a good substitute. If you're going for that really iridescent look that I showed you with the Chanel, I don't think this does that. I think it's a nice gloss and it does have like a little bit of warmth to it. It doesn't hurt my lips, so that's fine. But it's not, I hate the word dupe, because that just sounds like you're, in my mind, it sounds like you're stealing like the design. It's just, I don't think it's a great replacement for that, if that's what you're going for. Whereas with the Charlotte Tilbury and the Victoria Beckham, I think, you know, it's the same kind of look. You could get the same kind of look. So this is the Yves Saint Laurent All Hours Hyper Blur Multi-Use Loose Powder. It's 0.35 ounces. It is 24 months. So it's got 2 years to it, which I think is awesome. And it says, soft, refined blur. The Yves Saint Laurent Multi-Use Loose Powder provides a flawless, natural, soft matte blurred result. Long wear, natural, soft matte, refined, blurred complexion, buildable, translucent to sheer coverage, feels weightless, blends seamlessly into skin. There is the synthetic Floor, I'm going to get this right eventually, Floor Flow Gopite in it. However, and mica, by the way, this works. Now I got the blue, which I find interesting, because if you've ever looked at a color wheel, you'll see that, like for painters, for example, I took a lot of years of art class. Green is the exact opposite of red. Okay. And then as you move towards orange, you get towards blue. So blue, if you look at like a deep blue, it directly contrasts orange. Green directly contrasts red. But as you get to the lighter blue, it's like a different shade of orange. It's a color wheel. I'll put up a color wheel picture so you can see what I'm talking about. And when I am trying to combat my redness, I go with green. It is a long-standing, like, makeup artists have been doing it forever. So when they said blue in their advertising, combated redness, I thought that was interesting, because blue, it does, but more orange, an orangey red. However, it's not like blue doesn't combat red. It's just that it's not the first, like I think of green first. And I have green powders. I have the Prada powder. I have other green powders. The thing is that about this blue is interesting because it is blue, but it's an icy blue lavender almost. So what ends up happening is that blue has an element of green in it, obviously. And I think what it's doing is that it's combating redness, orange, red, and brightening at the same time because it does have this icy blue, purpley lavender kind of thing going on. How it's gonna work on a deeper skin tone, I do not know because I haven't tested it on somebody who has deeper skin tone. I need to try it on my husband because he's like, I don't know, 7 shades deeper than me and much more golden in tone. But if I put this on the back of my hand, it sinks right in, you don't even see it. But that's why I didn't swatch it because there's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing. If, however, I put it on my chin, which still has I mean, it's tiny at this point. It's a tiny bit of redness. And I just like press it in with my finger. It does neutralize the redness. It also brightens the area. So I have to say, I'm very impressed with the powder. I used it as my final step today, my first step today, before I put on my eye makeup and my lipstick and everything else, because when I used the Creal and I used the Refy Bronzer contour and the highlighter, my face was very glowy. Now I'll put the images back up so you can see what I'm talking about. I liked how glowy and bright it looked, but I also thought to myself, hey, as I'm putting on makeup, as I'm doing stuff, it's still probably too emollient. And although that's a popular look because it's the whole glass skin thing, right? I was like, let's see what happens. Let's put the powder on and see what happens. It immediately gave that soft matte look, but it didn't dry out my skin. It didn't make my skin look cakey. It didn't make me look old. It didn't ruin the look. I still look healthy and glowy, but in a more subdued way. It's not that glass skin look. If you're looking for the glass skin look, the Creal product, I think might be right up your alley because that's exactly what it gives you. This like really gorgeous, dewy, so you can hear Harper in the background agreeing, dewy skin look. But if you're going for something more like, I need an everyday look that doesn't look like glass skin because maybe that's not your thing, this powder is excellent. Now, I need to continue to try this. I've only used it for a short period of time, but I really like it. And I'm just not a powder person. So I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. Now, I do plan to buy the Suku press powders. They have a blue one and they have a lavender one. So I'm going to compare it to those once I get them. I don't have them yet, but I will. And I'll compare it to green powder. So I'll do like blue on one side, green on the other so you guys can see. But I gotta say, it did do what it said it was going to do. Last but not least is the Refy mascara, which I teased in the last video. This brush is interesting. So, what I'll say about this mascara. It actually went on my top lashes way better than I thought it was going to. It fits exactly, I'll make sure I zoom in on this, the shape of my eyelash. The shape of my eye. Like, it's perfect. Literally, it's perfect. So, I don't know if that's going to work for everyone because everyone has different shaped eyes, but for me, yeah, it's a perfect fit. It lengthens your lashes. This is a lengthening mascara. This is not a volumizing mascara. It gets every single lash and it lifts them. Now, I curl my lashes with a curler because my lashes are completely straight. But it kept them curled, which is usually my problem because I like a volumizing mascara, which tends to be heavier. And so by the end of the day, my lashes have gone straighter than at the beginning. This one definitely lengthens and it lifts. So I'll give you a close up of, you know, against my cheeks, to the side. It is really good. You know where I had the problem with it is on the bottom lashes. So, which is interesting because the shape is basically the same. And this is bendable. This is a bendable brush. It's not like, but when I did this side, I had no problems. Like it fit perfectly. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Like it's great. This side, for some reason, I had more issues. Now it's probably because I'm not left-handed, and the way that I put on mascara, I never switch hands. I use the right hand and I just go over. Well, it's hard to do that with this particular brush. You'd have to go like this, which is what I usually do. But the problem is it's harder to line it up with your lashes this way. So that's what I noticed with it. Now, again, I'm only using it for the first time. You have to, you know, anytime you're using something new, you gotta get used to it and learn how to use it effectively. But I would tell you that if you're looking for something that's a lengthening mascara that is curved, this is absolutely curved, and you want something that's definitely gonna lift your lashes, I think this will do it. However, I am getting transfer on my under eye because my lashes are incredibly long. I know, cry for me here. But my lashes are incredibly long, so they are hitting my skin and it's transferring. However, that may be because I'm wearing this and I usually don't have like an oil on my skin as a first step. So I need to continue using this when I don't because maybe that's what it is. But if you're somebody who has oily skin to begin with, that might be a problem. Again, I don't know yet. I'm just trying it out. So I always draw attention to all the things I can possibly think of that might be issues. Overall, I would say that all of these products deliver on what they say, but some of them are far better than what they are. The Hourglass I think is fine, but I'm not overly impressed by it compared to the Chanel. It's definitely, again, my opinion, a letdown. The Refy products are far better than I thought they would be. The Yves Saint Laurent powder is far better than I thought it would be because I was kind of like, blue? The Sarah Creal is great. It's exactly what I thought it would be. It's very watery, but I would say like you only need a few drops. I use too many because it's deceiving because it's so thin, but it's very emollient. And when it comes to the Victoria Beckham and the Charlotte Tilbury, because they came out about the same time, unless you're somebody who really absolutely has to have the luxurious packaging, or you really want a smoky heavy look, and I hate to say this, but I would go with the Charlotte Tilbury. It's my take. Again, my take. And the Camelia Futura collection from Chanel, best one in a while. Can't wait till it's online. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you in another video really soon.